The Marvels, big surprise. People are big mad about the Marvels. People are and we know the types. It's not a surprise. It's actually the same people from before. They got a big problem with the Marvels. It's too woke. It's all these women. It's the MCU. Yada 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 yada. So, of course, the Marvels trailer came out. Now, I did my reaction to the Marvels trailer with y'all, and I told y'all I was like, I mean, it was okay. Like, it just doesn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. It didn't blow me away. I didn't hate it, and I didn't love it. It didn't blow me away. It didn't get me super excited. But it was never anything for me to like go give it a thumb down. It was never anything for me to go out and belittle it. It was never anything for me to go troll and trash it, right? It just was not. But that didn't stop other folks because folks are going to troll because that's just the world we live in. So for the Marvel trailer, of course, it got a whole lot of dislikes, despite like the huge number pouring that it got, the uptick in views. So the trailer had 7.6 million views. 7.6 million. So, and that was just in 11 hours. So it received 214,000 dislikes on the YouTube channel compared to 318,000 likes. So people were just not liking it. Oh, look at this. There was a good quote here too. Somebody put with great wokeness comes great brokenness and fatigue. Okay, whatever. I listen, I don't get down with all that stuff. I'm not insecure to the point where if I see women on screen, I think it's gonna be bad. Um, and even if I'm not interested in something, I'm not about to go out there and ruin other people's experiences with it. I'm not gonna go, bombing it and disliking everything. It's like, yo, get a life. Like, get a life. Seriously. If you don't like it, just don't go watch it. Just don't watch it. It's weird energy. It's really, really weird energy. But let me tell you this, because I didn't want to really talk about the fact that it's getting review bombed. That was something that everybody really anticipated, and a lot of people already knew um, how this was going to happen, and that this was going to happen. Everybody knew that this was inevitable, and it's that part, the part that makes it inevitable, that I kind of want to talk to y'all about real quick. And it was so funny because we knew this wave of ignorant trolling was going to happen. Okay? And let me be clear when I say ignorant trolling. I'm not talking about people who watched the trailer and was just like, it's not for me. I don't like it. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking about the people that go out their way to talk about how woke it is and all these women, this and MCU. I'm talking about those people, right? Because we expected this to happen, because we knew that this was going to happen, something else is starting to happen that I'm concerned about. And what I'm concerned about is people taking the negative backlash from these trolls. And let's be honest, this is not a huge number of people relative that are going to make like a huge dent in the movie's box office. Because even if it was like 2,000 people, 200,000 people, whatever, one, half of y'all probably still going to go watch the movie anyway because y'all like to hate watch. People like to literally go watch things that they hate just so that they can talk about it. Again, weird. And even the people that don't want to see it at all, y'all not finna hurt the box office that much. Ooh, it loses $10 million. Oh, well, $10 million is not a big difference. But what does have me concerned is people making up excuses for this movie. Okay. So, what I'm saying now, listen to what I'm saying. I'm very concerned about people saying, because this movie has trolls, because this movie has haters, if the movie doesn't do well, it's because of that. Does that make sense? You even saw this. Rolling Stone came out with a whole article because Brie Larson's Marvels already has fanboys in their feelings, right? And it goes in and it talks about, again, the trolls and everybody that were having an issue with Brie Larson. Now, for some of y'all that don't know, there are people that are like, why do people hate Brie Larson? Like, why does she get all this hate? Now, this goes back to like an award ceremony. It was at a women's director conference or something like that. So it was like a women's award show, director award show. And in this when she was giving her announcement, she basically was like, look, Hollywood right now, when it comes to critics, and this was like in 2016, 2017, she was like, when it comes to critics, the people that go out and review the movies that literally dictate whether a movie gets made or not, or if it gets good appeal or praise or not, vast majority are white men. She didn't lie. That was true. The vast majority of critics, even to this day, are white males. So her point was also saying we need to diversify. We need to increase the numbers. We need more women, people that are like either directing or that are being critics. We need more people that are people of color to be critics or, to direct and stuff like that. She never said white men go away. She never said that. But that's the way some people that are, again, doing a lot of this illogical attacking, that's the way they interpret it. They hear diversity inclusion and they take it as you're trying to exclude me. No, that's not how that works. Just because we're bringing more people to the table does not mean you have to give up your seat. You can still sit there. You can still have a voice. All she was asking for was for more people that come from different backgrounds that have not traditionally had a voice to have a seat at that same table. But again, people have misinterpreted that and be like, oh, this is an attack on my white manhood, because it's only predominantly white men that are having this big issue with Brie Larson. Within that demographic, I'm not talking about all of them, but the people that are doing this are predominantly white men, and they hate her. They hate her. Like anything she does, they troll her, whatever. Again, it's not for me. I don't really care, but whatever. So here's my concern. Because as I mentioned, I said that I think we're getting to the point in society on the dialogue that I see where I noticed that a lot of people are like trying to protect the Marvels, the movie, because of all the vitriol and trolling that's happening with this very loud small group. And my issue is I don't think any movie should get protected, because I'm the type of person, I judge it on its own merit. I think that if a movie bombs or if it fails, it's probably because it's just not good enough. Like Shazam. I don't care if people were bombing it or doing or whatever they were saying, like, because people was all like, oh, no, Zachary Levi was like, oh, the Snyder fans and da 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 da. The Snyder fans didn't hurt your movie. Your movie just wasn't good enough. So my concern with the Marvels is I hope people judge it on its own merit and not blame any of these negative trolls online if the movie doesn't do well. If. With that said, I do have 4 main concerns with the Marvels. And these 4 concerns are why I don't think the Marvels are going to live up to the same success that the last movie made, Captain Marvel. The last Captain Marvel movie made about $1 billion in the box office. I don't think the Marvels is going to come close to that. And I got 4 reasons why. First one, you have a much shortened release window. When the first Captain Marvel came out, this was before the pandemic, movies were able to be out longer. We had that 90-day window. So if you didn't watch it the first week, second week, third week, fourth week, you had 3 months to go to the movies, to pay your money, and to add on to it, and to eventually see it before it came on to home video streaming, whatever. So because of that, that's number one. I don't think it's going to be able to have enough time in theaters to get to that Billy mark and really, catch up to what the first movie made. The second issue, you don't have the Endgame effect. The Endgame effect was basically right after Infinity War. When that movie came out, we was thirsty for anything Marvel had coming up next. It did not matter. Y'all could have put a Groot special with just Groot saying, "I am Groot" for 2 hours, and we would have watched it. That's how thirsty we were after Infinity War. We were so thirsty that we literally made Ant-Man 2 the highest grossing movie in the Ant-Man franchise. Ant-Man 2 has made the most money out of Ant-Man 1 and 3 and 2 all together. That's how thirsty we were for watching this stuff. And Captain Marvel got that Endgame boost because we was like, look, after Infinity War, we need to know what you got. What you got? What you gonna show us, man? And that movie got $1 billion. Now, there was also another effect going on too. This was Marvel's first female-led movie. Great. And that's coming off the heels of Wonder Woman. Remember, Wonder Woman came out and blew people away, made $800 million. People were like, yo, female-led superhero movies can do damage like that? So you coming off the heels of Wonder Woman, you coming off the heels of Infinity War, and Endgame is right around the corner. It was the perfect storm to make Captain Marvel great. Now, Captain Marvel, the movie, is not good. Critically, it did not do very well. Fan reception, not so much. It is in the bottom levels. Wherever you want to put your ranking, it's at the bottom for most people's all-time MCU movies. So you had a bad movie that made a lot of money at the right time and the right circumstances. You don't have that perfect storm with the Marvels. You don't have nothing that's before or after it that's really getting the people excited to go see this specific movie. So that's my second reason. Short window, no Endgame effect. My other concern, I haven't seen the Marvel, so I don't know, but this is a concern. If you change the tone of the Marvels, that might hurt it. I've already explained to y'all before that changing the tone within a franchise has been problematic for Marvel so far. You have not seen this done otherwise except for Thor: Love and Thunder, and it still came back to bite them in the butt. What do I mean by changing the tone? What I'm talking about is when you start off a franchise, and let's just say the franchise is 50% comedy. Let's go with Ant-Man. Because if you go back and watch the first Ant-Man movie, it's not slapstick humor. It's funny, but it's not funny all the time. So when you watch the first Ant-Man, they go like, about 40% humor. Second Ant-Man, it was about 45, 50% humor. Ant-Man 3, MODOK, I have holes. They started going with slapstick humor. That didn't work out very well. Thor started off more serious, right? Maybe 80% serious. Of course, you're still going to have a joke in there once in a while. But 1 and 2 were terrible. They were not good movies. And then Thor Ragnarok came around. Because Thor 1 and 2 were so bad, Thor 3 came around and blew us away. We didn't even care that they went up to about 45% humor, 50% humor. We didn't care. Because them other movies were so terrible, we was just glad that you did something that made sense and it was entertaining. And then Thor 4? Thor 4 came up with 70% humor. You cracking jokes while people dying from cancer. You got goats screaming everywhere. You got Zeus taking people's clothes off and stuff. Not a good look. Changing the tone from what was already built up and expected is not a good look. So my third concern with the Marvels, don't get too silly. Because people talking about like, oh, this trailer looks fun. That's great. But Captain Marvel, the character and the movie was not fun. You know what's fun? Deadpool is fun. Deadpool was, you know what you're getting in Deadpool. Deadpool is in there for the comedy, the jokes. That's fun. You know what was also fun? Ms. Marvel, the TV series. That was fun. That was not something I walked into to take seriously at all. You talking about Kamala Khan, who was sitting here daydreaming, doodling, and making jokes and all that. That was fun. And that was okay. Because that was good for the character and it made sense within that little franchise. That made sense. But I'm saying, if you start off with Captain Marvel, because go back and watch that movie, it's not a fun movie. It has a couple fun things in it, but it's not a fun movie. If you go from Captain Marvel with, let's say, 35% fun, and if you go up to 65% in the Marvels, I think that's going to have a negative effect. I think. So, to recap, I got shortened window, no end game effect, changing the tone. Last thing, and I just talked about this with Star Wars. You have the Disney Plus dependency. When you look at the Marvels, you have 3 characters now. 3 characters. So 1, you're going to have to watch the first Captain Marvel movie to even know who Carol Danvers is. But who's going to know who Monica Rambeau is? Now, we know because we're nerds. We watch this stuff, right? But who's going to know that in the general audience? You think the general audience watched all of WandaVision? And she was a supporting character in WandaVision. That's a tall order to ask right there. Then you got Kamala Khan, who's just popping off of her own show. You going to have people watch Ms. Marvel too? Because if you only watch Captain Marvel, and then all of a sudden you just walking in and you like, yo, who's Kamala Khan? Yo, who's Monica Rambeau? Wait, why is Monica even in space? What is going on? That's a lot to ask the audience. And this is something that even before, what was it? During phase 3, you didn't need to watch anything because there was no Disney Plus, right? You didn't have to watch a bunch of shows to step into a Marvel movie. When Black Panther came out, some people watched that as the first comic book movie they ever seen because it was an easy entry point. But now in phase 5, Unless you're doing something like Shang-Chi or a completely brand new character, the reliancy, the to be reliant on all these other previous things, it's getting stronger and it's becoming more necessary. You could not walk into Doctor Strange 2 without watching WandaVision first. Because if you had been watching all the movies, and if you had came from Infinity War to Endgame and you go straight into Doctor Strange 2, you'd be like, yo, why is Wanda tripping? When did Wanda turn evil? What happened? You wouldn't know. You was like, yo, wasn't she at the funeral? What happened? So I am very concerned that the short window, potentially changing the tone, having the Endgame effect not help, and being very dependent on Disney Plus, I don't think that this is a good recipe for the Marvels. I hope it does very well. I'm going to go watch it. But like I said, those factors are kind of sort of making me wonder, is this movie only going to make 400 million? Maybe 5? I don't know. So those are just my concerns. I'm rooting for Nia DaCosta, the director, first Black female director for Marvel, by the way. I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for all 3 women in the Marvels. I hope they do well. I'm just concerned about basically the system around the movie, and I don't know if it's the best recipe for success. That's my main concern right now. So hopefully it does well. Hopefully it blows people out the water. But we will have to wait and see. And I really hope that if the movie doesn't do well, people don't use the whole troll thing as an excuse. Don't make excuse for movies. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's just bad. Don't matter. Because good movies have made other people shut up in the past. Those same people that was making fun of Daniel Craig for James Bond, they shut up real fast when Casino Royale came out and it was fire. So I don't want to hear no excuses. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.